the most scary podcast to publish for me. This is an interview about the past months that weren't the happiest months because I was stepping in the light and everything inside of me, so many different parts were pulling me back into the dark and I didn't want to do it. So I worked on it with success. And exactly on this journey, Simone Brockhuis is interviewing me. And Simone is great. And she's founder of Feel Your Mind. She's systemic business coach. She helps female coaches and therapists stand confidently in their own light as powerful entrepreneurs. With her warm and yet direct approach, she breaks through limiting beliefs and shows you how to run your business in a way that truly fits you. Through the path of the wise woman, she helps women to grow from a place of trust, freedom, and joy, both personally and in their business. And this is exactly why I asked Simone to interview me on my journey in the past 3 months, to give you insights in my journey, but hopefully also to learn and discover that your system, every person has so many ways to sabotage yourself. Enjoy this very special podcast episode.
Take us back to last summer, because we were on a business retreat together in a group, and something very, very beautiful happened there. And can you take us to that moment? What did happen in that very, very first moment?
Yes, I was actually the first one presenting my plan, my $1 million plan. And what happened in there basically is I have this dream that I work with women worldwide. And I also had a lot of reasons to postpone that dream. Several reasons. And during that retreat, actually at the beginning, I realized that it felt like, okay, I don't need to wait for permission from anybody. I can make the decision right now.
Yes.
And that is the moment I know you're talking about, referring to, and that's what happened. I don't need to wait for anyone's permission. I can make my own decisions and I can just go and pursue my dreams. Yeah.
Yes. What a powerful insight.
Yeah. And it was very interesting for myself. I don't consider myself anymore as victim of situations or whatever.
No.
But apparently I was still waiting for someone telling me, Susan, it's okay. You can go. You can go now.
What was leading up to that point? Can you take us there?
Yeah, I have this vision for the world. I believe the world should be a more equal place for women.
Oh,
And
totally agree.
yeah. And if I just take a look back on my life journey, I think all these things that I've done, all the decisions I made, all led to where I am now. I've worked in sales for 13 years, also in management positions. I was on a daily basis with corporate organizations, and now I empower women to take position. So first in the Netherlands, then a bit of Belgium. But my dream was bigger. My dream was bigger. Yeah. And I think maybe unconscious or conscious, whatever. This is for me the reason why I've joined this program that we're both in currently. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then you presented your plan. How did that presentation go? Because I remembered it very vividly.
Well, first I was presenting from my mind. So if I was I am used to make I had to make my sales plans, my marketing plans, and present them, and for 3 to 5 years, and that's how I did it for my $1 million plan. And during my presentation, I shifted from, okay, but this is what I truly want. So I started speaking from the heart, and and way more empowering than compared to when I was just presenting an Excel sheet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you got your heart involved.
Yes, for sure. It was already involved. It is always involved, but then when it's up to my plans, then something else takes over every now and then. Yeah.
Shifts. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably because you're cognitively very strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And fast.
Yeah.
And was taught to use that mainly. So yeah.
And in that moment you can shift it to bring it together with your heart.
Yeah, because I was asked the right questions.
Oh, that was
Yeah. Just a few questions and then it hit me. I said, what am I doing? What am I doing? I know what I want to do. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
You were so empowered at the end of that retreat. And you had the plans ready. You had everything worked out.
Yes, but there is already something happened because I was the first one at the 10 o'clock first day. I was the first one presenting. I think it was around 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And while I was presenting, I felt already myself getting restless.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt myself being restless. And at first I couldn't pinpoint what it was. But, well, the only thing I knew what it was like, okay, I've just shared one of my biggest dreams. And I shared it with such confidence that there is no other way than I will succeed. Will succeed or I will get there. Without knowing how long or what it would take, without knowing the exact journey, but I was convinced. I felt so empowered. That's what you saw. That's what I felt. And then there is also a part of me that tells me, and it tells me not at the beginning, but it starts with a restless feeling. Oh, Susan, really? Why? You're just speeding up in the Netherlands with you're just growing. This is the past, at that moment, year and a half, were the best year and a half, the fastest growth I had with my company. So what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Why can't you just be normal? Continue in the Netherlands. What maybe a lot of people would also advise me from whatever points of view. Yeah.
So a lot of, is it old habits, old patterns?
Yeah, I've done. I'm 48 now. Since my 35th age, it's like a constant journey of personal development. So on different routes and roads, and just whatever feels best at that time.
Yes.
And, so I knew what I was doing. I knew that I was doing because I also discovered a few months before that I was rejecting myself. Susan, you're not good enough to do this. Susan, why would you do it? Susan, this. So continuously rejection. And I know it's not original mine.
Something you made your own, but not originally yours.
I took over, but it's not my authentic me. And so, and also during the night, I couldn't sleep, which is not, the energy was very high in the group in those 3 days, of course, with lows as well. But the energy is so high, you're like living in a bubble for 3 full long days.
Very long days.
But it was I had a very restless night. In the morning after I went for a walk, and I realized I need to let go of something that is not mine, and that is the rejection part.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I did by myself during the retreat. Yeah. And then it felt lighter. Yeah.
Because did you already know that rejection part?
I knew that already. Yeah. That was one of the, I would say, main reasons why I also joined the program. It's a VIP version, so you can go cheaper, but they didn't want cheaper. I want impact. So let's go all in.
Yeah.
So I knew it before, and I thought I fixed it, but it came back.
It always does.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'm convinced that we all have different parts in ourselves,
yeah,
mostly combined with a certain age. So some parts start very young, other
yeah.
parts start later in life. That rejection part, can you pinpoint when it started, how old you were when it started?
No, I don't remember my age, but I do remember it was for sure under 10. I think
Yeah,
it was already there without me being conscious aware.
yeah.
If I don't think as a kid you're aware
No,
what's happening to you. You just take it the way it is.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
it's been there for a while with me. Yeah,
So it's a part you know very well,
yeah.
um, but is not very helpful in building your business,
No, totally not.
not in taking your position.
After the retreat,
Yeah.
the
What happened?
first few weeks I was still living in a bubble, very nice bubble,
And high vibe.
high vibe, high energy. Not, I don't think ego high energy,
No.
but like grateful and yeah, that kind of energy. Because I also know the other part,
Yeah.
the other side, and then I noticed slowly, I was losing energy,
Yeah.
and I noticed,
Hmm.
but I wasn't able to change it.
No.
I know that I am aware. I am with all the training and development I did. I am aware,
Yeah.
and a lot of things I can shift. But this one, I
You
couldn't
couldn't.
pinpoint. But I was noticing a lower energy, me harder working, more from the head instead of my heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've noticed. Yeah,
Yeah. And that can be very frustrating. Was it frustrating for you?
it is because I was like, gee, I'm spending 10,000 euros on this program, and what do I get? I get a really low energy and also less of results. Just that's and I think it's a logic a combination, but that wasn't the plan. I had something different planned.
No. What you had in mind?
No, totally not what I had in mind. No, no. So then what happens then
Yeah.
is maybe you were going to get, so you notice yourself getting lower in energy, and then you also start to get pissed off with yourself that you're going down
Drink.
the energy goes down the drain. So it's double.
Yeah.
And I laugh now, but it
That's
wasn't
what,
funny at that time. But
no, it
yeah,
feels really nasty.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then that's a nice word to use.
Yeah, and especially then when your kids ask, "Mom, are you sad?" My kids are 10 and 12 now, and so that yeah, that hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you feel you're going down a slippery slope.
yes,
You feel frustrating, right? Which only results in getting faster down that slippery slope
yeah,
than before. What was the point where it started to change? Because I know it's changed.
yeah. The point where it changed was I was having a lunch with a friend, a good friend, um, and she just shared about her a book that she recently read. It's called Embracing Ourselves.
Mm,
So it's and it's based on the method voice dialogue, and it's that every human being has so-called voices or that produce thoughts or whatever you were how you call it, but
yeah, I
for
call
me
it
it's
parts more.
parts, yeah, parts inside of you, and often we ignore or we don't want to see the parts that do not serve us.
Yes.
And that's it's funny, it's a bit ironic because what I'm always teaching, I talk about in my work, I talk about a good girl that serves everybody else except for yourself or myself.
Mhm.
And I always say, don't push her away, because she will come even closer to you.
Yeah.
Look at her, accept her, and still do it your own way. And that was this book is about, embracing all of ourselves, all of our parts.
Love it.
And I'm a very good fighter. I mean, not a fighter life and death, but I fight. If I want something, I get it. It doesn't matter how much it costs, I get it. That is me.
Pitbull mentality.
Yeah, but from very masculine perspective, huh? So whatever it costs me and my health, I go. And of course it's changed during all those years of personal development. But I realized that while I was losing energy 1 week at a time, week after week, I realized I was fighting against the situation. I did not want to lose all the energy. I wanted to be happy. And this friend pointed out this book to me, and I bought it the same night. I listened to books, and it's not finished yet, but the way she explains, you can just have chats with all your parts. So without even having read a word, I started writing, and I started just writing with whatever thought or part came up to me, without judgment. Just, okay, so who are you? Why are you doing this? What are you? Because they all have a reason why they do this. They want to defend you. They want to protect you from everything outside you. And so that's already the start of an embracing
They're there to
journey.
help you. It's only a survival part.
I did not have to fight anymore. And no, I didn't have to fight anymore. And I did fight a little bit, because I knew in here was, well, an answer. I don't know if you can call it an answer, but at a certain point I was asking myself, so if being an entrepreneur costs me that I turn down myself constantly, what's the point?
Oh, wow.
There is no point. There is, even though I have I believe a beautiful vision for the world, but what does it cost me?
And is it worth it?
Is it worth it? And my answer was no.
No.
My answer was no. And so I realized that what I wanted for me, for me only, was joy.
Yeah.
Joy. Yes, I want to have fun. And it doesn't mean that I'm out every night partying. No, I want to just feel happy, feel grateful. I couldn't even be grateful, thankful for the smallest things. I was very good at that. I could just, for the 10 millionth, well, I exaggerate, for the 10 million dinner with the four of us together, I could still be grateful.
Wow.
And I lost it.
Yeah.
Completely. So what is then? Yeah, what's life then if you cannot appreciate things on what you have around you? Yeah.
So that was a key decision.
Yeah. The decision was that I want to live my life in a joyful way.
Yeah.
Whatever happens after, my first priority is this.
Wow.
I don't care whatever happens. This is what needs to happen.
Yeah. So profound.
Yeah, and that's where it. And thanks. I don't believe it's a coincidence, but I also knew how to do it. That helps. Otherwise, I would figure it out. But it was already there.
Yeah.
So what I did, I started writing 2 to 4 times a day, and often I used a lot of willpower to do that, because if your inner critic is very happy to criticize you, it doesn't want you to write about that.
No.
it finds, all of a sudden I'm on Instagram. I'm never on Instagram. When I was there with my book and my pen, I was on Instagram to just postpone me facing what I had to face. Yeah.
Yeah. So it took a lot of dedication.
Yeah. And I'm still doing it, but it took a lot of dedication. But, what I discovered, I discovered a bit the process, what happened. So,
Can
so
you take us there?
yeah, what happened, and I was because I did not know it. I think it took a few weeks to discover this. So what happens? Because you have you have a few parts of yourself. Everybody has them. And those are the parts who influence a lot how you make decisions and what decisions you make. Not from the authentic way, but from, what we've picked up. And so my inner critic was a very important one. And you also have the pusher that continuously pushes yourself to go.
Yes.
But my pusher wasn't operating by itself. It was my inner critic saying, "Oh, you won't make it." And my inner critic was like the fuel for my pusher to create, for example, a to-do list, impossible to-do list. And then at the end of the to-do list, what I wrote for one day, it wasn't even possible in a week. But it was for my inner critic a way, a system, a strategy. At the end of the day, "Oh, Susan, again, you didn't finish? Really? You going abroad and you even think of going to US and find your women in there? It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen." So
pushing the dream away.
Yeah. So the inner critic is like the fuel for the pusher and the perfectionist, and so that was a very interesting discovery. So and that was a very useful also one, because as of that moment, I don't have those weird to-do lists anymore.
No.
From one moment to another. So that was an instant change.
Wow.
My inner critic is not gone, but that part is, there is a few things that are important. I just know what I have to focus on. If I finish this, I move to the next one. If something else pop up, I can always decide what I do or not.
Dus you stopped putting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah. You're well, okay, you failed.
Yeah.
You see
so another reason to pull me down.
Yeah. Creating it yourself.
Yeah. And there is, I think if I would have done this some years ago, I would felt very sorry for myself, feel pity. But I wasn't sad about what was going on, because I know where it comes from. I can give it an explanation. It is what it is, and I decide to do something else. So sometimes I do believe, come on, again. But there was my impatience and maybe also the insecurity if I manage or not. But I was not sad or no, that I wasn't doing that. I was just discovering things. And yeah.
Well, you talk about the pusher and the critical.
Yeah.
But who were they talking to? Who was the other person in the conversation? The healthy
How I don't know if I understood voice dialogue correct, but what the way I am doing it, there is like me, and all the other selves are part of me, and together we're me. Together we're Susan. So sometimes I talk from myself to the inner critic or the pusher or the control freak, or and sometimes I talk like from all of us. And so it's very, and sometimes I also let two parts talk to each other. because sometimes I ask, for example, a question for my inner critic could be, because I just confronted my inner critic, you're not even authentic because you took over from someone else.
Yeah.
So you're not authentic. So what do you want to be? A copycat? Or, yeah, I've worked in sales for 13 years. So I am often negotiating with selves, parts.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would also ask, so whose help do you need? And then because I wrote still a lot with how do you call them, the negative parts, but we also have a lot of parts that wants us to shine and grow. For me, I couldn't reach them anymore. Now I can.
Yes.
But I let them talk to each other also.
Wow.
So it's all.
Yeah. And if you talk about Susan, all the parts, I talk about the healthy adult.
Yeah, no, I see me then as the state I am at that point.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a wannabe me, just me as I am at that moment.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what it is at that moment. If that's how I feel, that's what it is. So there is somebody taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes make the picture of all myselves in a bus.
Yeah.
And the one at the steering wheel decides how fast we go or not, or it's the brakes, or takes the scenic route, or just focuses on something. And when the little one is at the steering wheel, the
inner child, or
I have a very insecure little kid in me.
Yeah.
So if she's at the steering wheel, we're not going very fast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then the positive ones are in the back of the bus.
Yeah, nowhere to be found.
Hiding between the seats.
Yeah.
And I ask them to join the little child.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and just make a conversation without judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then while I was writing, embracing the selves that took over my bus, mostly the inner critic, but pusher, whatever. At least not someone serving my dreams. At a certain point, I could see the more positive ones.
Yeah.
The ones that also share my vision, share my dreams, that allow myself. That was also an interesting one, because I discovered I used to, what I really enjoy about being a company owner is that I can learn so many things. And of course, I've done that also when I was working within corporates, but as an entrepreneur, it's only me. So whatever happens, it's me.
You can't blame anybody else.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody else. So I discovered that I lost that part who loves to learn completely, because everything had to be done right from the beginning. Correct. So of course that stops you from moving, because you never do things right as the first time, especially not when your dreams are a bit bigger.
And it's exciting, but it's also terrifying if you're doing something new.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed now. So for example, yesterday I had a conversation with a law firm specialized in doing business in US. And then I noticed, okay, it's getting again a bit closer towards my dream. So somebody has to wake up to say, Susan, really? Really? But then I can shift within 5 minutes. It still happens, but I can shift it. I'm just going. I'm enjoying, I'm learning. whatever happens, whatever the outcome is. Yeah.
Wow. So you put the learning part from you who loves to learn
Yeah.
wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes it very soft. Well, not soft in the negative way, but softer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Allowing myself to learn.
yeah.
And so I'm also allowing myself to, that things don't work out. It doesn't matter, but if I don't do it, then I don't know.
Yeah. Just curiosity.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And I also discovered, because what I'm also very good at is forgetting what I've achieved already.
Mm.
Or not paying attention to. So yeah, I just go full speed and oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that's normal. What I did back there.
yeah, and realizing that my decisions, also by talking to friends or people I don't know on LinkedIn, whatever, like, oh yeah, it's not that common
Mm.
always the choices I make, and
No, it's not.
not from an ego perspective, but
No.
from an awareness of okay, just go, and then
With your presentation in that business retreat, you put the bar very high for the rest of us.
yeah, well, I
In a
don't
positive
see it.
way.
Yeah, I don't see it like that because it's just me going through a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and that also, I think, also me realizing um, that maybe, yeah, it is not so normal what
Mm.
I'm doing. And, I'm facing the shit, and I go through it, and
And that's very inspiring.
yeah.
And I know you hate that when people say that.
Yeah, well, that is also that's. I mean, I did not have to do this and the previous episode, but I know, I cannot explain how alone I felt in the past 3 months, especially like since 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so. It's changing, but I felt so alone, and in that moment, I don't think of anybody else but my own darkness.
Of course.
I'm not the only one. I am not the only one. And whoever picks up a tiny bit from this, um, yeah, I need to share. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So you were down and out. Now, down and out is too much to say, but
it was not funny.
it was not funny.
I was delivering. I can deliver because, of course, I have my customers. I do presentations. I do deliver. I know that. I know I can do that from past also. You know, when I'm sick, people still believe that I'm very high energy,
Yeah.
and,
And you
and
have
I
enough
do.
experience to do that.
Yeah, to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But because we see each other once every 2 weeks,
yeah.
saw something shifting in you the last couple of weeks because you were talking to your inner parts.
Yeah.
Something shifted, and your questions, your reactions in the group changed, and it was you're getting your empowerment back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you take us there?
Yeah. I feel first of all I feel myself again. I
Mhm.
feel my body again. I did not have connection anymore. Um,
Oh, that's a very important thing to
yeah, I
mention.
know that's your thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I
Yeah.
continue or okay? Yeah. So I feel myself. I can feel my energy going. I also I spend time on feeling
Yeah.
that because I know how important it is.
That makes sense.
And when energy flows in my body, I don't have to hold it all in my head. And then I can also contact my I call it my birth me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that is another discovery. It's also called your inner being. If you listen to Abraham Hicks or our teacher Kim Munnekom, uh, uh, her energy is, your dreams, either for yourself, for the world, or most probably a combination, are there to be pursued.
Mhm.
You're not here to,
Play
if
small.
you have to play small. Exactly. Thanks. And that feeling, that connection with her, that truly empowers you. Not a power or not a willpower, but it's just an energy of I am going. And I'm going, and I find it normal that I'm going. I can I can actually give you an example, because I think last week or 2 weeks ago I was asking ChatGPT what's needed to do business in US.
Oh, good question.
Yeah, very good question. And I saw the list of things, and I was like, oh my God, really? What? Why am I doing this? Why am I making myself things so difficult for myself? And I knew that was my head, my inner critic, whoever is talking. And then I went immediately, I asked my inner being, my birth me. I was like, so what do you believe? Susan, it's just a list of 10 things. You do them one at a time. You get there, then you start. That's it. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is, and that makes the journey so much more joyful.
Yeah.
And that was the plan, the wish, the desire. Yeah. Yeah.
Joyful, effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from confidence. And of course, I don't know what happens. Of course, what I think, I don't know if it will happen, but I did it in here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you did it once, you can do it again.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And you're all, it's not only your thinking that shifted, but also your whole energy
Yeah.
shifted. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's I'm very good at feeling. So whether I'm in a nice nice energy or a low energy, I always feel what's happening. So I use a lot if I start the day with writing, I just feel something, and then something pops up and I write. So first my feeling, and then my brain gives the words. And I use that as also as some kind of a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we were talking before starting this podcast, and last night I was driving in the town. It was dark, and there were a lot of Christmas trees, normal trees with those nice Christmas lights. And I noticed that I did not feel grateful for experience that moment. So the lack of the feeling is for me like it's my monitor system now. It's a
light bulb.
Sorry.
A light bulb moment.
Yeah. Okay, Susan, you're a bit away, not because it's wrong, just because it is. So I can move myself back. And before I would push myself back, I would fight against it. Now I accept it. I know. I have now a book full of writing.
Your self-talk just went a lot more empathetic.
Yeah. Yes, but also more empowering. Yeah. So before I was only talking to the pusher, the perfectionist, the criticus, the all those negative parts in me who were driving my bus. And now I put other people in front of the bus. Yeah.
In the front of the bus. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And everybody is still there. I don't let them on the side of the motorway. Sometimes I wish. They're still all in the bus, but
but they are only there to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So they're very, very valuable.
Yeah.
But the impact that they can make mustn't be too big.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have a say, but not a big say.
Yeah, exactly. And for sure not take over the whole bus. Yeah. It's a nice metaphor.
Yeah. Well, I'm very visual, so I see everybody in that bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just start a conversation with whoever is at the wheel.
Yeah. And also now I noticed that, because before I was a bit afraid. I was like, okay, if I let go now of my inner critic, then I don't see her. But now I just start with a positive. I mean, now it's also not, my days are not filled with negativity anymore.
No.
So I also write,
Yeah.
and that I do it very conscious. I also write in a happy moment, in a joyful moment, in a grateful moment. Yeah. So
Oh,
both.
I'm very excited about that because most of the people I know, and I've been doing this work for 26 years,
Yeah.
but what they see is when they feel better, they stop.
But I know I am the living proof that it comes back.
Yes. Of
It
course.
happened in a very short period of time,
Yes.
from high to the like neutral to even higher, and then boom.
Yes.
And I've also read in this book that, for example, an inner critic, it can be on every corner of the street, very unexpected, because it has been, well, your knowledge is there, I think, a lot more than mine, but she's been there for so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it can be
So,
a smell, it can be a person, it can be a room,
yeah,
it can be everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So in August or September, I was like, oh, I thought I had this. I was here already. Do I need to do it all over again? But no, you don't need to do it all over again. I think I'm more, and I guess that's what the whole message is of this book, or from Voice Dialogue: embrace ourselves,
Yes.
all of us. Yeah,
And what my experience is that the periods of time that I'm down
yeah,
are getting shorter and shorter
yeah,
because I recognize it more easily.
yeah,
So it used to take me apart for like 3 months,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then I couldn't do business. Well, I did business, but
yeah. But it wasn't so joyful as it can.
yes, it was
Yeah,
pushing and making it
yeah,
work. And now I recognize it, and I can shift it in like a half an hour.
yeah. What do you
Then I
want
can,
more?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And half an hour is not a problem.
No, not at all. And with half hour, all your other parts also don't get a chance to interfere and to help you going down in
Yeah, that's like the snowball
yeah,
going down the hill. It's
yeah,
getting bigger and bigger and
yeah,
faster and faster. And if you can stop it at the top of the hill,
yeah. Then it doesn't. It's
just
only
like a
small.
whole snowball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was a huge snowball.
we're having a snowball fight. Yeah,
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 yeah. And the nice thing that I also I um I I am a moment person. That's also how I coach. We do with what is now, whatever pops up now.
perfect.
Um, but also in this journey, I discover new things, and I discover also new things um, that I want for myself, and then I put my focus on it. So yeah, it makes it all better, easier, more
Ah,
joyful. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm so glad to have this talk with you.
Yeah,
It's so,
I'm very happy, because I knew I had to ask you to interview me about my past. I know your knowledge, your experience for so many years, and um, yeah, I knew if I have if I want to give people an insight in my head,
mhm.
in me, in my journey, then I knew it was you
Oh,
to ask. Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much, Simona.
you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us to how the dream is now?
Yeah, the dream is there. The
Mhm.
dream is constantly there, not always aware. And I do notice that when I do a few movements towards my dream, I do know that I am okay doing them,
Yeah.
and I enjoy doing them. But once I've done them, um, there is somebody who pops up,
Mhm.
I feel restless, and
Yeah,
that
that's
is a bit
normal.
the signal now. This small, tiny, little thing is not even a thought, but it's like, I'm not really comfortable. And for me, that's a sign that, okay, I guess I have to talk to someone
Mm.
and focus on the dream again, and everything. It's all fine. It's all fine.
You
Yeah.
don't freak out anymore from the
Nee.
restlessness.
No.
No, it's part of the journey.
Yeah. And I know for myself that I'm easier with failures than with success.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's also part of the rejecting system, the inner critic. So I also know that I will not go to sleep. I will continue talking to me and myself. And yeah, yeah, because I want to have a joyful life.
Yes,
Number one.
that's number one.
That's number one. Yeah,
Everybody benefits from you
yeah,
a joyful life.
yeah,
And joyful and grateful.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been talking quite some time already.
Yeah. Well, I think we can continue a lot more, but maybe let's wrap it up. And it 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 felt a bit weird because I found it important that I did not have to lead this podcast, and I asked you doing this, but I'm gonna take over a bit now because I'm really grateful for spending time on this, asking me all these questions, Simona, and hopefully give listeners an insight in how a journey can go.
Yes,
Um,
that's it.
and I have one question for you. If people are curious for you, for your work, um, where can we find you? Because you have your own podcast. It's in Dutch,
Yes.
so it's good to realize.
Yeah.
But where can people find you online?
Well, it's my podcast is De Wijze Vrouw podcast.
Yeah,
And my website is feelyourmind.nl.
yeah.
So
Okay.
there you can find all my details.
Yeah, I will also share it in the show notes. So if you're curious, just find out more about Simona
Thank
and
you.
what you do for the world.
We share a vision. We share
Yeah,
that we want to empower women, especially women, to take their place.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you, Simona, and mwah.